Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and here is day 4 of your World Cup journey with the scarf, I guess. First of all, alright, I will get onto the Brazil, Serbia and Germany games in a bit, but first, I want to talk about England. So I'm guessing the media has been sent in a bit of an overdrive. You're all suddenly going to be cheering on Raheem Sterling, despite spending the last few months alluding to him being a gun nut, or a thief, or a cheapskate, or an alien from outer space sent to infiltrate the US government, or whatever the latest line is from the journalists. I'm sure you're all going to be lauding Harry Kane as the greatest thing since sliced bread, despite spending the last 6 months laughing at him for being a gold thief and having the speech patterns of a broken washing machine. Although to be fair, I am with you on the last one.
Yeah, Terry Shannon, Robbie Keane, all them, Klinsmann, all them.
But seriously, do I give England a chance against Tunisia? Yes, of course, it's Tunisia. I mean, no disrespect to the legions of Tunisians watching the channel, but you should be beating them. But the question, are you going to win the World Cup? No, we have been through this every time. Fabio Capello couldn't do anything with England. What makes you think Gareth Southgate can? His managerial CV consists of getting Middlesbrough relegated and coaching the kids. Just no. It's the pressure, the hype that it smothers the players. There's no support, only journalists waiting on the sidelines with pens as sharp as knives. Is it any wonder that you've had about 5 different players in the last month come out and say they basically hated playing for England? It's the media, lads. It's the pressure. It gets to them. It makes the players go into themselves, to hide, to wilt, play like a bunch of turtles, not assuming any responsibility on the pitch. We'll see how they do, but as long as the media in this country keeps on looking for a scapegoat after every tournament, you're honestly going to scare the players into failure. And that is effectively me ruling myself out of any interviews for print media in the future. Maybe not the wisest video to make when I have 2 degrees in journalism. Sombreros off to Mexico. They are the breath of fresh air this tournament needed. I'm not sure whether it's the sleep deprivation talking or the fact that I've been eating nothing but bowls of shredded wheat since Thursday. How am I going to last 4 more weeks of this? But I've got to say, I've been underwhelmed by the World Cup so far. Yes, the Portugal-Spain game was a cracker, but games like Costa Rica and Serbia, if I was a patient and life support, I'd be begging the nurse to unplug the machine, or they could just turn off the TV. Like, why do I have to be so dramatic? But Mexico, breath of fresh air. You would have thought, well, I thought anyway, that they'd just turn up against Germany with just one tactic in mind.
Build that wall! Build that wall!
I mean, Germany had scored 20 goals in their previous 4 opening matches at the World Cup. If I was a Mexican defender, my morning dump would have been shooting out of me like a lumpy waterfall. But no, fair play to them. They weren't scared. They actually took the game to the Germans, scored a fine goal through Hirving Lozano, who was actually given the nickname Chucky because he likes to hide under the bed to scare his teammates. So did Kevin Spacey, but for very different reasons. That Mexico goal was actually celebrated so vigorously that it caused a minor earthquake in Mexico City. Sure, that's nothing. You'd often get about 3 a month in northeast London whenever Heavy D goes for a jog. But Mexico were well worth the victory. Julian Brandt nearly scored a goal that would have put the Leroy Sané fan club into temporary retirement. But what a win for the South Americans. A quick mention for Rafa Marquez as well, playing in his 5th World Cup. He's also accused of being a drug lord and having links with the Mexican cartel back home.
Nobody moves crystal in the South Valley but me, bitch!
This Mexico team reminds me of the Colombian and Chilean sides of 4 years ago. Teamwork on the counter, pacey, inventive. I don't want to pile on the pressure, but I think we might have found ourselves our World Cup dark horses. As for Germany, they're now in that uncomfortable position Spain found themselves in 2010, and I suppose in 2014 when it didn't go well. Teetering on the edge of a cliff, knowing that if they lose their 2nd game, it's curtains. But lads, if Germany lose to Sweden, then I will personally get a tattoo of Mesut Ozil in a dress right on my left arse cheek. What have I done? But yeah, Costa Rica were playing Serbia earlier. Good lord, what an unappetizing wench of a game. And yes, I realise it doesn't make sense, but bear with me. I'm almost at that point of insanity where I'm hallucinating a bunch of talking rabbits in the corner. Alexander Kolarov scored the winner. Christ, this World Cup really keeps hammering home the memories of Ireland's failed qualifying campaign. While Nemanja Matic literally tried to take on the entire Costa Rica bench by himself, like a jumped up school kid who hasn't realised his mates have ditched him. Brazil, Switzerland. I feel sorry for the latter, considering if you're not Swiss, Nobody turned on their TV to see them. This was Brazil's first World Cup game since getting slaughtered 7-1 by Germany 4 years ago. You can't blame the fans for feeling a little nervous about this one. It's like going back into the water for the first time after your leg had been ripped off by a shark. Then again, not sure why a one-legged person will go back in. Would they not just sink? Terrible analogies aside, which is 90% of my videos, you could be blamed for Brazil fans to feel a little trepidatious about this one. Granted, they weren't exactly swimming with sharks anymore, they were just paddling in the shallow end with Finding Nemo. This Brazil team though, it's completely different to the one 4 years ago. There's no Fred for one thing, who honest to God was about as much goal scoring threat as a post box. They've got some great players, Gabriel Jesus, Coutinho, who probably triggered Liverpool fans when he curled into the top corner in the first half, and of course all eyes were on Neymar, who became the first man to play in a World Cup with a bowl of spaghetti dumped on his head. Then again, Ronaldo clearly paid some blind drunk to hack at his head with a pair of hedge clippers back in 2002, and that one seemed to work out pretty well. BTEC Emily Sande could be lifting the World Cup in July after all. And also, I know he conceded a goal when Switzerland scored their equaliser via Steven Zubar, but Alisson is a keeper. It takes a damn fine shot stopper to keep Ederson stuck on the bench, even if he does look like your man who spent about 20 years trying to drown James Bond in a bath. Yes, this wasn't the result they wanted, but Brazil are slowly easing themselves back into it. Give them time, I really wouldn't be surprised to see them in the final in July.
My only concern with Costa Rica is that they don't score a lot of goals. Joel Campbell, who was their star striker in the 2014 World Cup, didn't score a lot of goals, isn't playing today. Urena hasn't had a good season in the MLS, so they don't score a lot of goals, and they're playing against a team in Serbia who do score a lot of goals.
That's a perfect link, thank you Annie, to talk about the goal-scoring prowess. Oh, it's good, isn't it? She's good.
Very good.
Thanks, guys.
Of Serbia in Alexandra Mitrovic, who fortunately for
Oh no. Oh, it's like watching a car crash. Woman is able to speak about football. Jesus Christ, Evra. He wouldn't have believed it for himself unless he saw it with his own eyes. The applause as well, like he honestly looks as though he's just seen his dog explain the offside rule to him. She is a professional footballer for Juventus, Patrice. You remember, they're the club he spent 30 years at before he went a bit mental. I wonder how the former lawyer felt sitting there, getting patronised by a man who once fought a groundsman and tried to kick a football fan's head in front of about 15 security guards and the watching world. At least Richard Keys tried to hide his blatant sexism. Come on, lad. Oh, and by the way, happy belated Father's Day to all of you dads out there. Whether you've grown up a beaming, proud dad, or you spent the last 20 years wishing you picked up that damn box of condoms like she asked. Which I'm guessing is most of the fellas who spawned the Clampets off Love Island. Anyway, that's all I've got time for today. Join me tomorrow, where I'm gonna run through that England result. Whatever it is. Is this the year? Is Gareth Southgate your saviour? Is he gonna be the new Alf Ramsey? I couldn't even get through it. I couldn't even get through that one. I couldn't even get through that one. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. And yeah, as always, I'll talk to you in a while.